While the manufacturing sector is starting to feel the effects of a slowdown, consumers are expected to experience the impact. SEIFSA Chief Operating Officer Tafadzwa Chibanguza elaborates.
The consumer, I think, is going to be in real trouble. If you look at even the second in the headline PPI in today's numbers, the second largest contributor to the increase that we've seen now was actually food inflation. And we know that's also linked to the fact that the dominance of Ukraine in the fertilizer basket that we are going to see continue to feed into prices, this is at a consumer level, into prices there. We also know, of course, that fuel prices have been on the rise. That has also contributed to this reading here. So those two, the food side as well as the fuel side, the fuel side is actually reinforcing the food side. So it's terrible enough that we have food price inflation already on the rise. A recent World Bank index showed that in the last sort of 3 or 4 months, you are up about 67% in dollar terms. Bring in a weak rand, there will be a lot of pressure there.
Chibanguza gives a grim outlook on the near term as a result of the ongoing geopolitics, which watered down the recent months of positive manufacturing contribution to the domestic economy and tax revenue.
What was containing these numbers was a stronger rand. We know the rand was quite an outperformer in the recent, since the European developments began. But now we've seen it weaken in the last few days. So I think right now there's just too many issues at play, purely driven mainly by Eastern Europe and the developments there that are going to feed into this. That makes it very difficult to give an outlook, but I think the general sense is up, and this is the first one that captures the first month of those developments. I think we're going to see the near-term readings also being on the upward rise.
Chief Economist at Don Consulting Group, Chief Mango, agrees as he reflected on the latest manufacturing production figures released earlier this month, showing a 0.2% decrease, while sales dropped by 0.1%.
That tells you that much as there is some positive movement, which are also generating in terms of revenue side from SARS, but then the production patterns are quite challenging at this stage. While you're seeing there, for instance, production actually coming in lower at 0.2% from the 2% increase which happened in January. So it's a mixed picture in terms of what's happening, production versus sales data.
The current figures represent the highest producer price inflation, with energy and other raw material costs continuing to rise at a global scale, worsened by supply chain disruptions. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Tumisang Ndlovu in Johannesburg.